The internet is absolutely drowning in advice on how to get rich. And let's be honest, most of it is just junk. It's clickbait, it's schemes, all designed to make someone else rich. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if building wealth wasn't about luck or some secret formula? What if it's a skill, something you could actually learn? Well, that's the core idea we're going to break down today.
So, the principles we're diving into, they come from an investor and philosopher named Naval Ravikant, and he kicks things off with a massive dose of reality, which you see right here. There are no get-rich-quick schemes. This isn't about finding a shortcut. It's about a complete, fundamental shift in how you think and what skills you build.
And that's the big question, right? Most of us are taught to think that wealth just happens to people. You win the lottery, you get a lucky break. But what if that whole idea is just wrong? What if getting rich is less like a game of chance and more like learning to play an instrument, a skill you can actually develop on purpose?
Okay, but before we get into the how, we have to get really clear on the why. Because if you're chasing the wrong thing, you're guaranteed to end up in the wrong place. The real goal, as we're about to see, isn't just about piling up cash. It's something much more valuable. It's freedom. This right here, this distinction, is absolutely crucial. People mix these three things up all the time. Money? That's just a tool. It's how we move value around. Status? That's your rank in the pecking order. It's a zero-sum game. For you to win, someone else has to lose. But wealth? Wealth is the real prize. It's the stuff, the assets that make money for you while you're sleeping. And that is what buys you your time back. That's freedom.
Think about it like this. The status game is about fighting over slices of a fixed size pie. But wealth creation, that's about baking a brand new, bigger pie for everyone. A couple of 100 years ago, there were no such things as airplanes or smartphones. We created them. That's creating wealth. It's a positive-sum game where we invent new value. It's an act of creation, not competition.
So if wealth is a learnable skill, then what's the formula? Well, Naval lays out a pretty clear equation. This is the blueprint, the framework for building wealth without just crossing your fingers and hoping for a lucky break.
Okay, first step in our equation, specific knowledge. Now, this is not the stuff you cram for in an exam. This is that unique, kind of weird thing that you're naturally obsessed with. It's at the intersection of your talents and your passions. It's the thing that feels like play to you, but looks like hard work to everybody else. And because it can't be formally trained, it can't be easily copied or replaced, it's your personal superpower.
Next, you gotta have accountability. This just means putting your own name on the line, taking public risks. See, if you avoid accountability, you get a predictable, safe paycheck. But if you embrace it, if you own your wins and your losses, society rewards you with equity, a real piece of the upside. It's definitely riskier, but it's the only way to actually capture the value you're creating. And the final piece of the puzzle, and honestly, the most powerful, is leverage. Think of leverage as a force multiplier for everything you do. The old school forms of leverage were labor, having people work for you, and capital, having money work for you. But the new forms of leverage, well, this is where the entire game has been completely transformed.
Just look at the difference here. Labor and capital, they require someone's permission. You need a boss to hire you or a bank to approve your loan. But code and media, they are permissionless. You don't need to ask anyone for permission to start a podcast or write a piece of software. You can build it once, and the internet lets you distribute it to millions, even billions of people at basically zero extra cost. The scale is just infinite.
Let's make this real with an example. Say, in real estate, a laborer gets paid by the hour, low leverage. A contractor starts using leveraged labor and takes on accountability for the project, so they get a share of the profit. A developer then adds capital and their specific knowledge of the market. But look at that final step, a tech founder who builds something like Zillow. They are combining all the forms of leverage, code, media, capital, and labor, to create something with an upside that is practically unlimited. So we have the equation. But the modern world has handed us this massive amplifier that just supercharges the whole thing, and that, of course, is the internet. The internet's real superpower is pretty simple, actually. It connects people. It means that no matter how niche or weird your obsession is, whether it's collecting 1980s action figures or translating ancient texts, the internet lets you find your audience. It lets you find your people.
And I mean, this has completely blown up the idea of what a career can even be. You have people building massive fortunes playing video games, or just talking into a microphone, or creating memes. They are all taking their specific, unique knowledge and using the permissionless leverage of media to scale it to millions of people around the globe.
So, how do we pull all of this together? We've got specific knowledge, accountability, leverage. It all boils down to one simple but incredibly powerful idea. And here it is. This is the big aha moment. Naval says that if you find yourself competing with other people, you're essentially just copying them. The way out isn't to run faster in the same race. It's to run a race only you can run. It's to become more yourself, because nobody in the world can compete with you at being you. Authenticity isn't just a nice to have, it's your single greatest strategic advantage. And that leads us to this two-word mantra, productize yourself. Let's break it down. The yourself part is your authenticity, your unique, specific knowledge, and taking accountability. The productize part is using leverage, code, or media to scale that unique self and serve thousands or even millions of people. It's figuring out what you are uniquely good at and then building a product or a service around it that the world can access. So really, this whole framework, this whole journey, it leads us to one simple but really challenging question. It's not about what's trendy or what's popular. It's about looking inside and asking yourself, what am I uniquely the best in the world at being? Because the answer to that question, well, that's not just a career path. That's the start of your journey to creating real wealth and real freedom.